Welcome back to the number one podcast on YouTube, the Vanture podcast. We are your hosts, Jack and the wonderful Taylor Sinusel. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. We're glad you're here, and we think you're going to have a good time hanging out with us. All right, folks, we are back to our regular scheduled programming, episode 9 of the Vanture podcast in southern Texas here in Del Rio. It's absolutely beautiful outside.
Yes.
And we left off in Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
So a lot has taken place since then. It's about 3 weeks since we last posted a podcast with just us. Mm-hmm. And we're going to try to keep it under 20 minutes today.
As he says every time. And it never happens, but that's okay.
Yeah, take us through it.
Okay, so we leave Joshua Tree, had the birthday weekend of my dreams.
Of a lifetime.
Yeah, no, I really brought in 30 hard.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that you did.
Yeah.
Because as we're traveling, I'm like, It's her 30th birthday. I mean, granted, I was working on my 30th birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say.
With this coming up.
Yeah.
But I was worried a little bit that we would not be able to have a special... couple of days because obviously we're limited on.
No, and we had talked about it before, and you were like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "No gifts. Like this trip is gonna be the gift. Like I don't want anything."
You said that, but there's always
and I meant it.
But like a surprise, something fun, and we can do anything we want because there's so many places we can go and visit. But there's no family, there's no friends. Like that's the piece I was worried about. So tell us why that wasn't a concern.
Yeah, it wasn't a concern at all. So, okay, backing up and again, going back 3 weeks from now, which is crazy. It feels like yesterday. But we're leaving Joshua Tree and I was just feeling so whole. Like, I don't know how else to explain it because it was just a wonderful way to have a birthday. And we get to Palm Springs and I knew that Katie was coming to visit us at the end of the week. Or so I thought. And we were going to go to brunch in Palm Springs and kind of plan out the next few days until Katie came. So we get to brunch and we're finishing up brunch. And I don't know, I was talking to you and all of a sudden this redhead comes over with 3 shots of tequila. And she's like, "Oh, sorry I'm late," bags in hand. And it's Katie.
So awesome.
And my jaw just dropped. And yes, I knew she was coming in a few days, but the fact that she was there on a Monday, I was just like, what's going on? And backing again, I had that entire week off of work. So I was already so excited because I could do whatever. There was no constraints. I didn't have to be like on the computer at any point in time. So I could just enjoy myself. And then here she comes and she surprised the bleep out of me. And I caused a scene.
Yeah.
I caused a whole scene. I was crying. I was probably talking way too loud. Apologize to everyone around me, but it was just so wonderful. And I really couldn't believe it for honestly probably the first 6 hours that she was there. Yeah. I just kept looking at her
I feel like it's just what you needed in that situation.
No, it is. Yeah.
We just spent 4 days in Joshua Tree at an Airbnb, just us. We did exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I think her coming and surprising you was just the cherry on top that you needed. Maybe you didn't know you needed it, but
I didn't.
I think
I didn't.
Because the plan was she'd come for 3 days.
That wouldn't have been
in
enough.
Tucson, and then she'd be gone, and she wouldn't be able to travel with us and do the whole thing. No. So it was perfect.
No, it was so perfect. And you're right. I didn't know that I needed it. And now looking back on it, I'm just so thankful for it. Even more so. Like, yeah, I've been with you the whole time and I love spending time with you, of course. But like girl time, there's just
Yeah.
And the ladies know what I'm saying. There's just nothing like girl time where you're yapping and you're just having moments. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, the Energizer Bunny just yapping away. So yeah, we were in Palm Springs for 2 days. I slept in the van in the parking lot at the hotel.
Yep.
They slept in the hotel room because they needed to
catch up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're a great time. But I had things I needed to do.
Yeah, work.
Netflix shows I needed to catch up on. And I let you guys do your thing. We had some great food. We went on a cool hike down to a watering hole. We went swimming. I went swimming.
Yeah, not me. It was too cold.
We just chilled.
Yeah, no.
It was great. Palm Springs is an awesome city. Cool mountains in the background.
Very vibey.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect.
And then we headed to Scottsdale.
Nope, Scottsdale. Yeah, so we went to Scottsdale after that, planned 2 days there, and then ended up surprising Jack with an Airbnb. Katie and I conspired.
So with Lewis coming,
Mm-hmm.
us celebrating your birthday,
Yeah.
Katie coming,
Mm-hmm.
over the course of, we'll say, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
10 of those nights were spent in a hotel room or an Airbnb. So
Yeah.
in my opinion, we got a little off track.
No, we did. But we're on track now.
Yeah, no, we've been in
Mm-hmm.
the van for a while, but it was great.
Yeah, no. It was so
You
good.
know, it just felt like a vacation from a vacation. if
Which
that
is I've
even
never
possible.
experienced
Yeah.
in my life.
No one gets it. Yeah.
No, but yeah.
Which is like laundry at the house. There was a pool in Scottsdale.
So wonderful.
So many bedrooms. You could sleep in a different one every night.
Yeah. We went a little overboard in that department.
And that was unnecessary. I was
Yeah.
expecting to sleep in a tent that night, and then we show up to an Airbnb.
He was like, "Where are we?"
Yeah, and they
Katie
go to
and I
Trader
were like-
Joe's and get a bunch of food, and we just chill and have a great time.
Yeah.
So that was a ton of fun.
Yeah, so much fun.
Scottsdale's
We went to
great.
a Christmas theme bar. They had
Yep.
just opened a couple days prior. That was fun.
Yep.
I don't think we did really much else to really speak on,
Mm-hmm.
but just like a lot of relaxation and a lot of girl time, which I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we headed to Tucson,
Mm-hmm.
which is an awesome place.
Yeah.
A little bit sketch,
Is it awesome?
but I think if you think about what we did there,
Yeah.
I would say it was awesome.
What we did, yes,
Yeah.
but the
I think
location.
with the plain boneyard,
yeah, you
that's
were
cool.
thriving.
With the food,
Mm-hmm.
with the awesome campground that we stayed at
Mm-hmm.
in Saguaro.
Yeah.
What else do we do there?
Well, let's go back a little bit. So Katie was with us in Tucson for 2 days before we were on our own for a few.
How about these hats?
Wait, we haven't gotten there yet.
Sorry, but the
Mine's
sun's coming in a
cooler.
little hot on the front end here, so I'm gonna just tilt it down a little bit.
Yep. Okay. So when we got to Tucson, you know who you look like? Jim Carrey from The Mask.
The mask.
Do you know how to tell the thing?
Yeah,
Do it.
I'm not familiar,
No,
but
you don't know.
I've seen
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Everyone will agree
Yeah.
that you look like Jim Carrey from The Mask. But so we got to Tucson and I booked a KOA because I wanted us all to be comfortable. There were showers, there was a restaurant on site. It's not your favorite thing. We've talked about that before. But I just wanted everyone to be comfortable. Joby had a little park on our site, which Jack ended up sleeping in the tent in the dog park.
Yeah, so picture like a 20 by,
Caged in.
20 by 20 concrete box
Mm-hmm.
with like a tree in it.
Yeah.
A lemon tree.
Lemon tree.
And that box is designed for
A
dogs.
dog.
So you can book a pet campsite at these ridiculous
Yeah.
KOA resorts, really. And you can just put your dog in it and they can roam free,
Yeah.
which was great.
Right.
Joey hated it, but
He didn't
it was a
hate
spot
it.
for me to park my tent for the 2 nights because the rest of it's either stone or pavement and you can't put the stakes in the ground. So we had to improvise and put the tent inside of this
So
cage.
funny.
And I slept in there for 2 nights and it got super cold at night, but I was excited about it because
Yeah.
I sleep in this awesome van every night and we have a temperature between
You can regulate
50
it.
to 65 degrees
Yeah.
and it's comfortable. But this was more like 30 to 40 degrees. So it took some bundling up and what have you, but
You
we
had
made
your
it through.
snacks.
And I will say the first night at midnight, I'm so
And we're in the
excited.
desert.
I'm ready to go. I'm going in the tent, guys. Have a good night. You guys do your thing. I'm going to go hang out, watch Netflix, whatever.
Yeah.
And midnight rolls around and it just starts pouring. Like it's a downpour and we're in the desert. So I'm like, wow, it's like really raining out there. Hopefully like nothing's getting wet. And I start thinking about it and I'm like, man, I don't remember seeing any rain on the radar in the desert.
Yeah.
So I look on my phone real quick to see if it's raining in the area that we're in, and it says no.
No.
So then I'm like, maybe someone hit a fire hydrant and it's just spraying on the tent that I'm in. And I was like, that's crazy. So I sat there for another 20 minutes and then I peeked my head out, got sprayed in the face with one of the sprinklers.
Sulfur water.
Come to find out, the sprinkler's in the little dog pen because there's grass. Obviously, it needs to go on every night to water the grass.
Yeah.
So my shoes are soaked. The tent is just getting absolutely obliterated for an hour straight. And then I went to sleep.
Yeah. But you
And
did
it happened
good.
again the next night.
Which you were prepared for at that point.
Yeah, but it was funny.
So funny.
So yeah, we hang out the KOA. They've got all the amenities.
Yeah.
They got the hot tub, the pool, showers. Very comfortable camping situation.
And that's what I wanted. Hindsight is 20/20 though, because the next place we went was magical, and we should have just stayed there.
Yeah, and
with
then
Katie.
Rosie the Riveter down the way there.
Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, that young.
Who are you? Oh, was her name Rosie?
Sure was. I will never forget it.
Oh yeah. So
She was like a page as a child.
just like, hi, what's your name?
I'm Rosie. Can I come inside your camper?
Yeah.
And we're like,
no.
so she just kept visiting us. Shout out to Rosie and her brother Grant.
Oh my God,
yeah.
you remember? Okay, wow.
Um,
What about them? What did you
They're
want to
just
talk
crazy.
about there? Not crazy. I mean, they're children.
Crazy in a good way or a bad way. Depends how you look at it.
Like we were a little. Katie will.
Not my kids.
No, Katie will
That's for
agree.
sure.
We were a little scared of them at some points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then Katie
Left.
got on the bird and she was out.
Yeah, I was sad. Yeah, but after that, it was kind of just like the universe being like, "We understand that you're sad, but we're gonna give you a gift of exactly what you need."
Yes.
And then we
Seclusion.
went to Camp Saguaro, and it was another recommendation from Nick and his girlfriend Erica, who actually met us there. It was just wild. I mean, so clean in the middle of nowhere. There was 6 sites, and you book it through
Hip camp.
Hip Camp.
And Saguaro's a national park,
Mm-hmm.
which is a
So
cactus.
cool.
A saguaro
Cacti on mountains.
everywhere.
Never seen anything like
So
it.
Camp Saguaro, quick rundown.
Oh yeah, I
The
wasn't
ladies
there for
who
that.
own it, they are full-time travelers, RV.
Mhm.
COVID hits, everything shuts down.
Yeah.
They need a place to park their RV long-term until the dust settles. So they buy this random plot of land that was numerous things over the last 100 years.
We won't even go into all.
Won't
of
even
them.
go into it, but homeless place for people to
Just like not good land. Like it
Not-
was very
yeah.
destroyed.
just garbage everywhere. They
Mhm.
buy this piece of land for I imagine next to
Dirt
nothing.
cheap. Yeah.
Look at Job's.
Oh yeah, Mom. Joby is in this. He just doesn't want to be in it.
So they buy this plot of land to park their RV until the dust settles.
Yeah.
And people keep coming by and saying, hey, we'd love to camp here because it's just outside the national park. So they decide to convert this plot of land into a 8 campsite campground.
Six.
It's 8. They told me 8, including the 2 houses.
Oh, okay.
So 6 normal sites and then a mushroom house and then another,
Really
the
cool.
Adobe.
The Adobe one.
Yeah. So they convert it
Mhm.
and they rent it out regularly. They have great reviews. And obviously we would have never found this place if it wasn't for Nick and Erica. But
No.
we get there and it's just absolute paradise.
Yeah.
Hot water, showers, clean, garbage,
Oh.
beautiful cactus, sun.
We had to stay
All the
another
things.
night.
Yeah, it was
We
great.
booked it for 2 nights. We stayed 3.
Yeah,
and I
we'll
wanted
be back.
to
That's
stay.
the one place that I will be back to one day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh
No
yeah.
doubt,
No,
no doubt.
definitely.
So we
I
stayed
wanted
there
to stay for weeks.
Yeah. Until the end of the trip, to be honest.
Literally.
But-
Yes.
We got to keep moving.
No. Yeah.
So Camp Saguaro in Arizona, just outside Tucson, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up staying in Tucson for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then we continued on our adventure.
Yeah. We went to Faywood.
Faywood Hot Springs, which is in New Mexico. Recommendation from Nick and Erica.
Yep.
And this is a campground that has hot springs in it, has a hot spring in it.
Multiple.
Which I love, a hot spring. And the unique part about Faywood is, one, it's in the middle of nowhere. Two, it's clothing optional campground. So if you want to, you can just park your RV and be completely nude all day, cooking, eating, walking your dog, and then there's a clothing optional hot spring on that side of the park. Yeah. So you can just go in the hot spring and do your thing. Very freeing, a little outside our comfort zone. So we stayed on the other side, but I thought that whole concept was very unique. Yeah. And they do very well. They were fully booked.
No, yeah, they were fully booked.
We drove through, we're like, oh, close your eyes. But
oh, God.
A hidden gem in the middle of nowhere.
No, it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
And that was a cool stop. Went in the hot springs a couple times. It was really just a stopover as we headed to the White Sand National Park, which is in New Mexico as well, I believe.
I'm not entirely
At this point,
sure.
I'm not sure.
No.
But I think it is.
It could be in Texas.
I think it's in New Mexico.
Is it?
Yes, because remember we went to the town afterwards, and that was in New Mexico. So we go to White Sand National Park, which, on the scale of national parks, Big Bend, Teton, Yellowstone, Glacier, down here, I would say is White Sand.
Really?
It's just
from
not
like a
much.
perspective of what to do.
You can go sledding down the sand, but I mean it's
I had fun, and I think I really only had fun because Joby had so much fun.
And everyone has their thing. Mine is I need to walk in and go, whoa.
Be blown away. Yeah.
And
no, it was.
It needs to be vast. One, and two, there needs to be some structure or some mountain or canyon or something that's going to really knock my socks off. And piles of sand.
It was cool though. Like I would suggest anyone that's wondering or national parks to visit, I think that you should go there.
Yeah.
I would say.
And it was right there. We checked it off.
Sledding, I don't know. So we rented a sled, which I don't know if we were just like too large for these sleds or we just didn't know what we were doing. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. But you could see in the
Joey
intro.
had a great time in the intro video if you haven't watched that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why I liked it so much is because I've never seen him have so much fun somewhere. He had
such a good time.
Yeah.
Where'd we go next, darling?
Well, the campsite there, we stayed at, what was it? Oliver Lee State Park.
Fabulous.
So if you are around there, so good. Jack found that, of course. And it was super cheap per night, but the campsites were really large and just the view was incredible. You're literally on the side of a mountain camping. So highly suggest that. After that, we went to Big Bend.
Big Bend.
Big Bend.
Which
my favorite
is arguably
our favorite,
the best national park that we've been to.
Yeah, and we did a little research and found out that it's actually the least visited national park because of why? Because
it's 6 hours from San Antonio and 5 hours from El Paso. So in order to get there as a non-Texas resident, you have to fly in. Yeah. And drive a significant amount of distance in order to get there. And then once you get in the park, it's another hour and a half to get to a campsite or wherever you're staying. Ooh. So for the people who live in Texas, I guess in close proximity to that, which probably no one does because it's not near a major city, but it's low key, it's humongous. Yeah. It doesn't photograph well.
No, you can't take it in with your phone or a camera. You just got to take it in with your eyes.
Yes. And we were able to, for the first time, spend a few days at a national park and go from one cool thing to another cool thing to a hike to a hot spring to multiple campsites within the park and get the full experience.
It was so cool. I think that's why it's our favorite park. So we're putting it up first because we were able to spend the time. It might not be the best, but we just weren't able to spend enough time at all the others, right?
Yeah, so we went to Cottonwood Campground, which is on the southwest side of the park. And then we went for a hike in Chisos Basin, which is awesome. We went to the ghost town of Terralingua. We then moved to the other side of the park.
No, we did another hike.
St. Elaine Canyon. And then we went to the other side of the park to the Rio Grande campground and went to a hot spring.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like
Inside
the
the
full
park.
experience. You could go there for 7 days. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. And obviously, we only scratch the surface when it comes to hikes and things that you can see.
But it was
But
so
the
beautiful.
river cuts the U.S. and Mexico in
yeah.
half. So you can see across the river is Mexico.
Yeah, look. So that's where we got these. I don't know how, but they trekked their...
you can go to Mexico.
Yeah, they
They have
trekked
the border,
themselves
or
up
they have
the
a
cliff.
they have a what do you call it?
Passing point?
Yeah, there you go. That'll do. And you can go across and hang out in the town over there.
We weren't able to, though, because the days we were there, it was closed. So there was no...
Tacos, margaritas.
Yeah. I mean, we watched a video on it. It doesn't seem like crazy.
Yeah, it's not that great.
But I think it's cool that you're in a national park and you can cross the border if you want to. You cross the river and then you can take like a donkey ride, or you could just walk if you wanted, or take a car. But so cool. But that's where we got these hats. So we went to an overlook because we were trying to see what it looked like. I think it's Boquillas del Carmen, I think is the town in Mexico. But we wanted to see like the overlook, and you can literally see the town from the national park. So we were driving through, and as I was saying a little bit ago, I don't know how they, I don't think this is legal, but somehow they cross the river, climb up the cliff, and they leave all of these handmade items for people to purchase with an honor system of a canister, and you put the money in. And that's where we got these hats. Which mine is really cool. It's all hand stitched.
Pretty rad.
Yeah.
So shout out to Big Bend. Great spot. Could see myself going into Tucson, staying at Saguaro, driving to Big Bend, spending some time there.
Yeah.
At a future date in our lives.
I will say best campground we stayed at there was the Rio Grande, though.
Rio Grande is great. Yeah. I mean, there's cows and donkeys and mountain lions and bears. And we saw a fox.
See anything but
we saw a coyote and a fox while we were hiking.
Foxes.
Tarantula.
Oh, yeah.
Scorpion. I mean...
The cows are what really scared me, which is so funny.
Yeah.
We were walking, it was pitch dark.
And they were just like...
And I had my headlamp on, and I turned it off so we could see the stars because it's
the #1 place in the country to see the sky.
Yeah, and they just have no, like, lights. There's no post lights or anything like that. So I turned my headlamp off so we could look up and see the stars, and then I turn it back on, and I just see 2 yellow eyes and this large body, and I got freaked out. It was just a cow.
Just a cow.
So, but anyway.
But we made it out.
Yep, and now we're here.
And we are heading to Austin. And Austin, or Big Bend to Austin is 8 hours, 9 hours.
Yeah.
So we cut it in half, and we are now at...
Say it.
Amistad?
Amistad?
Amistad
National
Recreation Area. So there are national parks, there are national forests, and then there are national recreation areas, which are just plots of land that are set aside by the government for
Are you certain
folks
on
like
this?
us to just go have fun.
Yeah.
And have a good experience as a human being on this planet in this country.
It's cheap, too.
So-
$10 a night.
Yeah, so you can come here and you can hike and you can fish, and it's just like a plot of land designated to having a good time.
Yeah.
So we show up and we're at Governor's
Landing
Campground, which is $10. We have this picnic table with this roof. We have a fire pit.
Yep.
We have a plot of stone for a tent, if you so wish.
Uh-huh.
And
What
space
else?
for our van and a great view. One of the biggest sites we've had. No
Yeah.
one's here except our homies from Quebec over here in the back.
Yeah. There's 3 people here, and I think there's like 15 sites.
Yeah, you just stay here, and the park rangers come through and they wave, and you just have a fabulous day. And today was one of the best days of my life.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into segments then.
Okay.
Do you want to do it?
If I can remember which button it is.
We're sorry if we mix this up.
Find the joy.
Perfect.
Find the joy.
Muscle memory. Find the joy. So I'm going to keep talking because I
ahead.
can't stop.
Okay.
Find the joy. I'm just going to say so many because so many things have taken
know.
place, and we've taken it so slow, and it's been so awesome.
If you have 2, that's
I'm going to
okay.
say at Big Bend when we're leaving the hot spring. So
Okay.
at Big Bend, you can travel down a dirt road through the mountains. There's a parking lot, and you can hike a half a mile up to a hot spring, a natural hot spring that's been there for 100 years. There's buildings from 100 years ago that
Very
have
cool.
kind of fallen apart, really, but
Yeah.
it existed a long time ago, and the bathhouse that was there actually crumbled, and there's just the foundation of the house, and they've turned that into a hot spring, which is on the Rio Grande River.
Yep.
So when the Rio Grande River fills, this hot spring no longer exists. But the day we went,
It
a
was
couple days ago,
perfect.
it was operating.
Yeah.
And we went and hung out in the hot spring, 105 degrees, so they say.
It wasn't.
Mineral
but
waters, healing waters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jumped into the river where it's colder.
Mm-hmm.
There's people selling tacos on the Mexican side. Just a cool experience for
so
everyone.
fun.
And on the way back to the car, it's super hot in southern Texas. And shirt off, soaked shorts, boots, sunglasses, hat, walking along this mountainside back to the van. And I just was overwhelmed with joy.
Aw, you
Just
didn't
like
even
the
say
freeing
that.
feeling of being out there. I might have said something to you, but a drone moment.
No.
Like, just like, we'll look back on this and appreciate
Yeah.
it. Hey, I'm stuck doing something I don't want to do. Remember that
Mhm.
time when we were doing that. And that's one of those moments for me.
Oh, mine's probably so obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to narrow it down to like a single moment, and I probably can, but I think my greatest joy has just been Katie.
Yeah.
Narrowing it down, probably.
I like your little tilt on your hat.
My what?
You have a little tilt. It looks good.
Oh, thanks. I think just catching up and just having normal moments. She posted something on Instagram last night calling me the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I mean, I woke up and I would tell her about the dream that I had and then apologize because I realized she wasn't Jack, so she's not used to me
Yeah.
just waking up and talking constantly. But yeah, just spending time with her was really grounding.
Yeah.
And I'm really
And
appreciative.
it's nice whether it's Lewis visiting us or Katie visiting us or
Mhm.
whomever.
Yeah.
Just
Just
being
like
able to
slices of
share
home,
this
too.
experience, because we send Snapchats and it's like, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Yeah.
But being able to share this experience with other people, I think, is even better.
Yeah.
Just like if I was traveling by myself, it would be
Yeah.
awful because I wouldn't have someone to say, oh my gosh, look at that mountain. That's pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
And we're able to do that with them. And
Yeah.
and they had a great
Just
time. So
special.
shout out to Katie. Shout out to Lewis. Shout out to anybody else who wants to pop in and spend a couple days with us.
Yep.
Awesome. I think that's great.
Okay. Do you know?
It's tapas time.
Ooh.
It's tapas time.
Yeah.
Start us off, darling.
Okay. It was really hard for me to decide because I won't say that I've been blown away by a lot of food over the
Yeah.
last few weeks, which,
We've also shifted gears significantly.
yeah.
It went from like the party phase of like, I can't believe we're doing this. Let's go out and eat every night to, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We're
Trader
we're 3
Joe's.
months in.
Yeah.
We have a month left.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to basics and do what
Yeah.
we set out to
Buying
do.
groceries
Yeah.
and
just
whatnot.
sticking to the script for
Yeah.
sure.
So it was hard for me to pin down. If I had to say anything, I would probably say, just because we went back twice, the Mexican pizza that we got, and don't even ask me the name of the restaurant, but it was in Palm Springs,
The Village.
in the Village.
That was the
That-
name of the restaurant, I thought. Maybe it was something else.
It-
Okay.
I think the Village was across the street, but that was really good. I also, I'll be honest, I'm not an authentic Mexican fanatic, and that's really all that's offered around here
Yeah.
because we're so close to Mexico. So that's probably on me. And I think Jack's realized that I'm a pretty picky eater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She likes a taco with sour cream and cheese and lettuce and
Yeah. But
flour tortilla.
if
The
I had
corn
to pick-
tortillas with the cilantro and
I
onion
can't
just
do
don't
it.
really do it for you, which
Mm-mm.
is fine.
they don't. But
But
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I would pick. What about you?
Los Charitos.
3 times. We went there 3
Breakfast
times.
burritos in Tucson. That's why I said Tucson earlier when I said Tucson was a good time.
Mhm.
Yeah, the city wasn't great. It wasn't
No.
a Phoenix or a Scottsdale or whatever.
Yeah.
It had the best
Mhm.
breakfast burritos.
Jack's going to turn into a burrito
Yeah.
at this point.
I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
Simple. I just want a burrito with egg
Meat.
and a meat
Mm-hmm.
and some type of salsa or sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be a size that I can
Oh, jeez.
hold
Yep.
and consume and not feel like a lard after.
I get
Fair?
that.
Like a size that's reasonable
It
and not
fills
overwhelming.
you. Yeah.
So we went there 3 times, but very simple. Egg, sausage. They double wrap the tortillas for the burritos. And that made it just a little bit more chewy. And then they had this awesome salsa that they made that just took it over the edge for me.
Right.
So we're probably talking about this big. 6 inches, 7 inches.
Here we go.
Okay. And that was my favorite food over the past month, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is sad, but
I know it was.
true.
I knew that was going to be yours. The third time I couldn't even have one. I was like, I'm over it. Take me to Brugger's.
Yep. We took her to Brugger's. We
Yeah,
sure did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. And our last segment.
It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's compromise. It moves us along. Yeah.
Yep.
Not much.
No. They're
Not
really.
much.
We were talking earlier. Normally we don't talk beforehand.
Yeah, we were cheating.
But I was
we were
like,
cheating.
I'm struggling.
Yeah. There's not really much. Like, the stage was really funny when we introduced this segment.
Yeah.
But
everything's just been really good.
yeah. I would just say the one thing that I've noticed has been a little bit of a burden, and I've had to recenter myself, is the driving.
Yeah.
Obviously, going through the West, going from one city to the next is a lot further than driving from New Hampshire to Vermont.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot. And some days we get in the car, like when we were leaving New Mexico, when we were at that campground, Oliver Lee. We had to drive to, we were driving to some hip campsite that we booked
halfway.
A little bit more than halfway to Big Bend, but it was about a 5-hour drive, and we're about an hour in, and we're like, what are we doing?
We
don't want to do this.
Miserable.
We're not speaking to each other.
No.
We've spent the whole morning just chilling at the campsite. We checked out at 2. We got on the road super late.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're just going to go to El Paso.
Because there was a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, we're just going to go shopping.
Yep.
Get some food.
Groceries.
Reset. Hang out in the van. Have a nice evening, chilling. And then we're going to get up early and make up that lost ground. Yeah. And the next morning when we got on the road and we drove to Big Bend, it was 5 hours.
We were in the mood to drive.
Yeah, it was a breeze. Because we wanted to be in the car. So I think it's just the mindset of being interested in driving versus not. Maybe it's energy level, but also the way I look at it too is 30 days from now this trip is going to be over and we're going to be doing normal routine life stuff, and we're going to look back and go, that was a lot of fun even when we were in the car.
Right.
So that's where I'm at.
But sometimes it just gets to be a lot.
Yeah.
And we want to just be able to stretch our legs and not be confined to the van, and that's okay.
And I've never been much of a driver. Ask
No,
Amy; she knows. I, if we can fly there, I'm flying there.
So let's give us props for 1 second, because we've driven so
300
much.
hours, 12,000 miles.
We don't like driving. It's not our favorite thing in the entire world.
This makes it more comfortable.
It does, yeah.
Because you can eat and you can use the restroom while you're driving.
Yeah, number one only.
Which is great. And you're a beast on the road. Like, you don't have to worry about safety.
No, I'm just proud of us in that aspect.
Yeah. So
anyway,
it is what it is.
I don't really have one for this. I think mine would be the same.
Yeah.
I struggled for
Everything's been going great. We have a great routine. We're very set in our process. We wake up, I take the dog out,
we each
she
have our
makes
own
the bed.
roles.
I haven't made the bed in 2 months because she makes it every morning while I walk Joby.
Yep.
And she does her thing, I do mine.
Yeah.
We make breakfast. If we're getting on the road early, it's a different routine. So we have like 3 different routines that we follow on a daily basis.
Depending
and it just
on
works.
where we are and what we're doing.
It just works. So we're at 30 minutes.
Coming up.
We've taken up a lot of your time.
Who cares?
But these hats are great, and we're having a great time.
I gotta do this again. We are having a great time. What's coming up?
We're heading to Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Great place. We're going to hang out there for a few days.
Almost a week.
We're going to see our friends Jesse and Joe, who live there.
Yep.
Great people.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see my parents
for
a couple days, which is awesome. So another guest
Thanksgiving.
joining us on this trip,
but
which
we're staying in an
about.
Airbnb.
So we'll be able to just get some R&R,
Yep.
catch up. It's always great seeing them, of course.
Yeah.
And then we're going to figure out the rest later.
Yeah.
We have 30 days left. We have to make it back to North Carolina.
Jack wants to cry.
Maybe we'll drive to Bend, Oregon.
We'll talk about it.
We'll see. Maybe Colorado. Maybe just go to Dallas and cut over through all those states and Alabama, Florida. Not sure.
We'll talk about it.
We'll revisit that next episode.
Yep.
On episode 10 of the Vanture podcast.
10.
Thank you for checking back in and sitting through this episode. You're a true loyal fan, and we love you.
We love you.
And we'll see you soon.